Today's video is about why our forex analysis or our strategy doesn't work every time, or why the analysis we do will work today and it's not working tomorrow, or refuse to work at all. Why are we making losses all the time? Why is someone saying this is the strategy he or she uses, but when you use it, it is something else? It gives you losses. You are not seeing progress in the forex market. This video will tackle that. Now, every strategy out there or every business out there will face a similar challenge. And what I mean by that is because the human mind, the brain, the mind that we use in thinking, in analyzing, has been trained in a certain way. All of us. Our minds have been trained in a logical way, to reason logically. Yes, that is how the human mind has been trained. Logical reasoning. And let me give you an example. For instance, if I begin to call out some numbers and I want you to continue, let's see how it will go. Are you ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, continue. Okay, that's good. I am sure you got it right. I am very sure. Again, I am sure when I ended at 10, you said 12, and said 14, and said 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, in that order, right? Now, that is logical reasoning. Our minds have been programmed in such a way that immediately, logically, we are able to reason, we are able to agree on a sequence. It becomes easier for us to continue. That is what we call logical reasoning. Okay. Let me give you another example. Okay. I want to mention some numbers again, and then you will continue for me. Right? Let's go. 2, 8, 15, 45, 80, 105. Okay, continue. I get it. I get it. What is the problem? I am sure you are not able to continue. What kind of numbers is this? Now, you are stuck. From 105, you do not know what number comes. Why? Because the mind has not been trained in that sequence. So, me mentioning those numbers and getting to 105 becomes difficult for you to continue because you do not know what number comes next. Logically, it is not reasonable. The numbers I am mentioning are not reasonable. And that is why you are not able to continue. So there is confusion. You are stuck. And that is exactly what I'm trying to say. The human mind has been programmed to think in a certain way, logically. So when you go outside that logical reasoning, it becomes very difficult for you to continue. Logically, you are looking at a forex chart. You are looking at a currency pair. Logically, the strategy is that you are to look at ABC, and when you see ABC, you take a buy. Logically, when you see ABC, you take a sell. Logical. Immediately, the market moves out of logical reasoning. We get confused. And we do not know what to do. We do not know what to say next. The strategy that you are using are guided by some rules. That is the logical aspect. The strategy is guided by some rules. That when you see this candle do this, or the chart do this, do this. Those are the rules. Once the market goes outside those rules, or once you begin to see something and it is not logically reasonable, then you get stuck. Now, I want to give you an example which will make this thing I'm saying very clear. In business, I watched a video and a businessman, gave a story. I want to use that story to make my explanation better. This man said, during the time of Nelson Mandela in prison, when Nelson Mandela was in prison, South Africa, former President Nelson Mandela, may his soul rest in perfect peace. There were a lot of people who were calling for Nelson Mandela to be freed. Free Nelson Mandela campaign had taken off when the man was still in prison. People were calling out and shouting, going for demonstrations and rallies, all in the name of Free Nelson Mandela. It was more or less like a movement. Now, a lot of artists, even Chaka Chaka and the rest, were making songs in support of that movement of Free Nelson Mandela. So there was this Nigerian artist, according to the story, who found a business opportunity. This artist thought that, okay, this is logically something that a majority of people want to be done. So let me do a music album and do a concert in the name of Free Nelson Mandela, because it was something that has become the talk of the day. Everyone was saying it. Nelson Mandela should be freed. So this artist thought he has found a business opportunity. So he wants to record an album and then launch that album, do a big musical concert in the name of Free Nelson Mandela. So he went soliciting for funds, using his own money, going into the studio to pay, book, and record songs, doing adverts, doing all kinds of PR work in the name of hyping the album and the show, so that he would do that concert. And he knows that when he's able to do such a concert, because everyone was in support of Free Nelson Mandela, it means people will buy into the idea. People will come for the concert. There will be companies that would like to sponsor. So he will, at the end of the day, make money. So in between when the songs were being recorded and then the program, which is the musical concert, in between, Nelson Mandela was released from prison. He was taken out of prison. And then this musician got stuck on the way. Logically, his business plan was for Nelson Mandela to be in prison. Then he can record songs, do a musical concert in the name of Free Nelson Mandela. Now, Nelson Mandela has been freed when he has not even finished the project, not to talk of the musical concert. You see? So on paper, he had a nice business plan to execute. And he had started executing the business plan. But along the line, he got hit by the real world. The business plan didn't go through because the real world got Nelson Mandela released before his business could be finished. So it is like that. So this guy's business got stuck without knowing what to do, because the plan was, let me do a musical concert, all in the name of Free Nelson Mandela. Whilst preparations were underway, the man was released. What happens? He has lost, right? Logically, everything made sense on paper. Logically, the business plan was very unique one, was very sweet. But in real world, something new happened, which destroyed the logical concept he had to execute. It is the same thing. Whenever we are faced with the real world, whenever the market presents itself in real terms, and then it becomes difficult for logical reasoning to comprehend, then we are stuck. You had a plan of buying a mobile phone, this mobile phone, at maybe $10 and going to sell it at $20. That is a perfect business plan, right? You want to buy it at $10 and go and sell it at $20. A perfect plan. It means you make profit $10, which is almost 100% profit. Now, you went to buy this at $10. When you get to where you want to sell, or when you go to where you want to sell it, you realize it is now being sold $8. What has happened? You had a nice business plan. Logically, it made sense to buy this mobile phone at $10 and go and sell it at $20. A nice business plan. But when you got faced with the real world, when you got to your selling point and realized that this phone was now being sold $8, it was there you realized that logically, what you planned didn't succeed in the real world. It happens every day in all businesses. When logically you see a trade setup that this is a clear buy, this is a clear sell, this trade must sell, nothing else. This trade must buy, nothing else. And immediately you enter into the market, you see a different trend. You get stuck. Logically, it's no more making sense. What I want you to know is that your forex strategy is just like a business plan, which is yet to test the real world. Your forex strategy is just like that musician, his plan of doing an album and stage a musical concert, all in the name of Free Nelson Mandela. That is a perfect plan. But when the real world presents itself, when the market starts moving, there you see the reality on the ground. And this is the reason why most businesses fail. They have a good business plan. Everything is perfect. The calculation, the wording is perfect. But the execution becomes a problem, because in time of executing, you meet the real world, presenting a different picture of what you have on the paper or on the business plan. It happens everywhere. It's not only in Forex that you decided this is a perfect buy, you enter a buy and you see it going sell. You enter a sell, this is a perfect sell. You go into a sell and then it starts going buy. That is business for you, because it happens everywhere. So people started well with a nice business plan, with a nice idea of what they want to accomplish in the forex market. But along the line, they move out. Along the line, they stop. Because the plan they have and what the real world is presenting, which is the forex market, are totally different. And because logically it's no more reasonable, they stop. Now, what I want to tell you is that every business person who intends to logically reason and use logical reasoning all the time will get stuck on the way. And that is why most business people will tell you that you need to think outside the box. Today, maybe you have never understood that word, but let me explain it. Thinking outside the box means the box is the logical reasoning. The box is the sequence, the way our minds were trained. That is the box. So if you want to become an exceptional person, if you want to be able to strive and move ahead, you need to think outside the box. You need to think outside the box of logical reasoning. Someone has manufactured a car with 3 plugs. Someone has manufactured a mobile phone without a camera. And then you think that there's nothing else that can be done. The only thing that can be done is a mobile phone with a camera. But it takes, or a mobile phone without a camera, I beg your pardon. You say that the only thing that can be done is a mobile phone without a camera. And then someone who is willing to think outside the box sits somewhere and says that no, a mobile phone can have a camera. I will want to create a mobile phone that will have a camera. And then at the end of the day, he comes up with a mobile phone with a camera. Logical reasoning. It cannot make you think outside the box. He is able to bring you that mobile phone with a camera because he has thought outside of logical reasoning. Someone says that, okay, apart from Facebook, there cannot be any other social media platform. And then someone sits down and says, no, there can be WhatsApp. There can be WeChat. There can be Telegram. That will look different from others. People are thinking outside the box. The Wright brothers, the aeroplane that they manufactured, people had tried to manufacture an aeroplane. They couldn't until the Wright brothers did something. If people said that, okay, this kind of aeroplane manufactured by the Wright brothers is the only aeroplane that can be manufactured, like we wouldn't have the new type of aeroplanes we are seeing today. People had to think outside the box. Think beyond logical reasoning. So the bottom line is, when you are using a strategy and then the rules that the strategy presents are no more working, you need to change the rules. When I was mentioning 2, 8, 20, 41 and the rest, maybe I had my own rules, which to you doesn't make sense, because if I leave it for you, you can't continue. Because when I got to 105, you got stuck, you couldn't continue. Maybe I had a rule that I am using to continue. You get it? So when it comes to forex trading, when the rules are not working, you have to change them. You need to think outside the box. Think outside the box. In forex trading, that is what you're supposed to do. I watched a funny video. Maybe let me use that to end. And the funny video was funny, but it made a lot of sense. The video was between a sales guy and then the madam. The sales guy came and presented an amount to the madam. And then per the calculation of the sales guy, the money is supposed to be 5,000. The sales guy said, somebody came to buy things 2,500. And another person came to buy another 2,500. So 2,500 plus 2,500 is 5,000. Logical reasoning. The madam said no. 2,500 plus 2,500 is not supposed to be 5,000. It's supposed to be 41,000. So they decided to calculate. So they put pen on paper, wrote 2,500, wrote another 2,500, and then they decided to add. So 0 plus 0, 0. Another 0 plus 0, 0. 5 plus 5 is 10. So the madam wrote the 10. And then 2 plus 2, 4. She wrote the 4. So when you calculate, it's 41,000, which is 41,000. And then the sales guy said, no, madam, the 5 plus 5 that gave you 10, you're supposed to carry the 1. And the madam was like, carry it to where? Carry the 1 to where? To the sales guy, the 1 supposed to be added to the 4, which will be 5. The madam also said, no, you don't carry anything anywhere. He added 5 plus 5, 10. She wrote the 10 down. 2 plus 2, 4. She wrote it, 41,000. The madam was trying to think outside the box. It might not make sense. You might think that, why? Because that is not logical reasoning. What we have been taught, the sequence we have been given, is that 2,500 plus 2,500 should give us 5,000. But she is thinking outside the box to say that no, the same 2,500 plus 2,500 can also give us 41,000 without taking anyone anywhere. If you are not taking the zeros and the 4 somewhere, why are you deciding to take the 1 somewhere? So this woman is thinking outside the box. It might not make sense. And that is how those who think outside the box are able to come up with new things. What they may want to do will not make sense to you. Because what makes sense is that a phone can only have no camera. And you are saying the phone can have a camera. Another person says, okay, the phone can have more than 1 camera. It shouldn't be just 1 camera. It can be 2 or 3 camera. You are saying, no, a phone can only have 1 camera. You can't get more than 1 camera. And then before you realize, someone has also come up with a mobile phone with more than 1 camera. So business people, those who are able to invent, those who are able to become successful in life, are those who think outside the box. Those who think outside what logical reasoning is all about. So if your strategy today is not giving you the profit, in real world, if it is not able to tally with the real world, change the rules. Change it. Change the rules. I'm not saying change the strategy. That's not what I mean. Change the rules. And see if the new rules you will set will come up with something. So if, for instance, you are using moving averages and you are waiting for the 20 to cross the 50 to give you an entry to go buy, or you are waiting for the 20 to cross the 50 down for you to go sell, and then you do that and it is not giving you profit, change the rule. Change the rule. Maybe instead of using 50 and 20, use 50 and 21. You have changed the rule to see what will happen. Or use 18 moving average and 50 and see. And then, if it is still not working, maybe add another moving average, maybe 25. you need to sometimes change the rules. You need to sometimes think outside the box. So the reason your strategy might not be working is because it is confronted with the real world. The real market confronts it. And when logically it's no more reasonable, then you are stuck. Then you get confused and then you want to bow out. Then you want to stop. People have stopped several businesses. The reason is because logically it's not making sense anymore. Because it's supposed to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That is how we have been trained. So if you are telling me it's 2, 4, 8, 12, and the rest, then it's not making sense. Logical reasoning. Let's think outside the box. That strategy that is not working, try and tweak it. Change some rules and see if something better may come out of it. So if your strategy is not working, if your analysis is not working, it is not only you. Logical reasoning, it happens in every business. At least I have given you the musician's scenario. At least I have given you the sales guy and the madam scenario. At least I have given you the sequence of numbers, the scenario. At least I have given you the mobile phone scenario. You decided you want to buy a mobile phone at $10 and sell it at $20. You got it, and before you realize, it is now being sold at $8. Meanwhile, you had everything perfect on paper. That when you buy it at this price, this is how much you sell it. You never knew the real world was going to hit at you and present something new to you. So business that is on paper and what the real world will present might be different. So as a real business guy, you don't bow out. You don't stop. You rather change the rules in the business to suit what the real world is presenting to you. Then you can move ahead. Then you can go forward. I pray what I have said will make a lot of sense for you to begin to approach the forex market in a different way. The way you've been doing it and it's not profitable, you can change it and do it another way. And for all you know, that is the way that may work. Until you try, you will never know. Until you give it a test, you will never know. So do it. Think outside the box and let's see the outcome. Thank you very much.